The sanctity of sex in Jewish law and lore emphasizes the importance of intimacy in a marital relationship, recognizing it as both a spiritual and physical act. Jewish teachings approach sex with a deep reverence, acknowledging it as a vital component of human life, procreation, and fulfillment of divine commandments. Within Jewish law, the practice of sexuality is not seen as merely a physical need, but as an expression of love, connection, and holiness between spouses. In Jewish thought, sex is considered an act that should take place in the context of a loving and committed relationship. The marital bond is not only physical but spiritual, and sexual relations are seen as a means to strengthen this bond. Jewish teachings recognize that a healthy and respectful sexual relationship is essential for the emotional and physical well-being of the individuals involved. While marriage is a proper setting for sexual activity, it is meant to be joyful, mutual, and with a sense of respect and responsibility. Procreation is one of the primary purposes of sex in Jewish law, reflecting the biblical commandment to be fruitful and multiply. However, Jewish law also recognizes that not all sexual relations are solely for the purpose of having children. There is a broad understanding that sexual relations can enhance the marital relationship and bring about emotional and spiritual fulfillment for both partners. It is viewed as a means of achieving closeness and a deeper emotional connection. The Torah and later Jewish texts, such as the Talmud and various rabbinic commentaries, offer specific guidelines and ethical considerations for sexual relations. These texts stress the importance of respect, consent, and mutual pleasure in a sexual relationship. The focus is on ensuring that both partners are treated with dignity and that their emotional and physical needs are considered. The halakhic Jewish legal principles also address issues such as modesty, cleanliness, and the timing of intimacy, all of which are seen as contributing to the sanctity of the act. Jewish law prohibits certain sexual practices and relationships that are seen as immoral or damaging to the spiritual and emotional well-being of individuals and the broader community. These prohibitions are outlined in the Torah and are further expanded upon by rabbinic authorities. There are also laws concerning the sanctity of the marriage bed, ensuring that sexual relations are not exploitative or harmful, and emphasizing the need for mutual respect between partners. Sexual relations are often seen as a reflection of the deeper spiritual connection between a husband and wife. The physical act of sex is a means of expressing love and affection, but it is also seen as an opportunity to achieve spiritual closeness to God. This connection is emphasized by the concept of kedusha, or holiness, which permeates many aspects of Jewish life, including the marital relationship. By following the guidelines set forth by Jewish law, couples can elevate the act of sex into a sacred and transformative experience. In addition to the laws, Jewish tradition also includes mystical and philosophical teachings that explore the deeper meanings of sexual intimacy. Kabbalistic teachings, for instance, describe the act of sexual union as a way of uniting the masculine and feminine aspects of the divine, reflecting the harmony of a universe. This mystical view places great importance on the spiritual energy that flows through the marital relationship and the connection between the couple. Overall, the sanctity of sex in Jewish law and lore is rooted in the belief that sexuality, when practiced within the framework of marriage, is a powerful and sacred force. It is not to be taken lightly, but is meant to be an expression of love, commitment, and a means of achieving both physical and spiritual fulfillment. The relationship between a husband and wife is seen as a partnership that involves mutual respect, care, and the recognition that both partners have a responsibility to support each other emotionally, physically, and spiritually. This view elevates the act of sex to a higher level of importance, transcending mere physicality and transforming it into an integral part of a holy and harmonious marital bond. Jewish teachings emphasize that sexual intimacy is not only a private matter, but has a broader spiritual and communal significance. The marriage relationship, within which sex is to occur, is viewed as a partnership that contributes to the greater good of family and community. The unity of husband and wife mirrors the unity of God's creation, and the act of intimacy can be seen as a reflection of divine harmony. In this way, sexuality is not separated from spiritual life, but is considered a fundamental part of it, as it plays a role in the creation and nurturing of future generations, a key part of Jewish continuity. Furthermore, Jewish law and tradition teach that sex should be approached with a sense of discipline and mindfulness. The obligation to practice modesty and respect within a relationship helps to elevate the act, ensuring that both spouses are attuned to each other's emotional and physical needs. Jewish law includes a concept of ona, which refers to the frequency of sexual relations between spouses, suggesting that there should be an adequate balance to maintain a healthy relationship. The idea is that intimacy should be regular enough to create a strong bond, but not so excessive as to overshadow the couple's broader responsibilities. A distinct aspect of the sanctity of sex in Jewish tradition is the role of women. Jewish law recognizes the sexual needs of both the husband and the wife, and it stresses that women have a right to a satisfying and respectful sexual life. In fact, one of the husband's primary obligations, according to Jewish law, is to ensure that his wife's emotional and physical needs are met, including those related to intimacy. The husband is required to make sure his wife's desires and boundaries are respected, and her well-being is taken into consideration during sexual relations. This is a reflection of the broader Jewish ethical principle of kivod habriut, or the dignity of others, which applies to all relationships. Moreover, Jewish texts discuss the importance of ritual purity in the context of sex. The laws of niddah, which govern a woman's menstrual cycle, stipulate periods of abstinence during and after menstruation, creating a cyclical structure in the marital relationship. During these periods, couples are to refrain from sexual activity, allowing for both physical and emotional renewal. These laws are meant to maintain the sanctity of the marital relationship and create a sense of spiritual anticipation for the moments when sexual intimacy can be resumed. The separation during these times is not meant to diminish intimacy, but to enhance it by bringing a sense of holiness and mindfulness to the act when it does occur. Jewish law also highlights the importance of prayer and blessing in the context of sexuality. The biracha, or blessing, over sexual relations is a way of acknowledging that intimacy is a gift from God. This practice emphasizes the sacred nature of the act and provides a moment of reflection before engaging in the physical union. Through these prayers and blessings, Jewish tradition elevates the act of sex into a divine act, ensuring that the couple approaches it with reverence and gratitude. In addition to these practical and ritual aspects, Jewish teachings hold that the emotional connection between spouses is crucial for a fulfilling sexual relationship. The connection of the couple is nurtured through shared experiences, mutual support, and a commitment to each other's well-being. A fulfilling sexual relationship is one that is built on trust, communication, and respect, ensuring that both partners feel valued, loved, and heard. The sanctity of sex in Jewish law and lore underscores a balanced view of sexuality, one that respects the physical, emotional, and spiritual dimensions of the marital relationship. It encourages couples to view their intimacy as a sacred act that enhances their bond, nurtures their relationship, and allows them to grow together in a shared life. Sex is not merely a biological function, but an act filled with meaning, a reflection of the divine, and a way to bring holiness into daily life. Ultimately, Jewish law and tradition invite couples to approach their sexual relationships with the awareness that they are engaging in something sacred. By fostering a sense of responsibility, respect, and reverence for one another, the sexual relationship becomes a transformative experience, helping to deepen the connection between spouses and elevate the marriage as a whole. It is through this lens of holiness, respect, and mutual care that the sanctity of sex in Jewish law and lore is preserved and honored. As the sanctity of sex is intertwined with the overall spiritual and emotional health of marriage, Jewish law underscores the importance of balance in all aspects of life, including the marital relationship. The intimate bond between a husband and wife is not seen in isolation, but as part of a broader framework of communal and spiritual responsibilities. Through the act of intimacy, the couple not only strengthens their relationship, but also contributes to the well-being of the Jewish community at large, as the family is a foundational unit of Jewish life. Another key element in Jewish teachings regarding sexual relationships is the understanding of love and affection. Jewish tradition often stresses that marital love should be deep, genuine, and based on respect. The emotional bond between husband and wife provides a foundation for physical intimacy, making it meaningful and fulfilling. This view contrasts with more transactional or utilitarian approaches to sexuality, instead encouraging a connection that goes beyond physical pleasure to include emotional depth and spiritual growth. In this way, Jewish thought aligns sexuality with the broader goals of living a virtuous and compassionate life. Jewish law also provides a framework for addressing conflict and maintaining harmony within the marriage. Disputes that arise between partners, including those related to sexual intimacy, should be resolved with care and mutual respect. Rabbinic teachings emphasize that resolving conflicts in a peaceful and respectful manner is essential for maintaining the sanctity of the marital relationship. Furthermore, couples are encouraged to seek guidance from religious authorities if challenges arise, ensuring that they address any difficulties in their relationship in accordance with Jewish ethical values. The understanding of sexuality in Jewish tradition extends beyond just the physical act and encompasses the broader emotional, spiritual, and relational dimensions of marriage. The marital union is viewed as a partnership where both spouses support and uplift each other, and sexual intimacy is seen as one of the ways in which they express this shared commitment. The practice of intimacy in the context of a loving, respectful, and holy relationship becomes a means of deepening the couple's connection, enhancing their understanding of one another, and ultimately bringing them closer to God. Jewish law also highlights the importance of education in fostering a healthy and respectful approach to sexuality. While there are no explicit teachings about sex outside of marriage, Jewish education ensures that individuals understand the significance of marital intimacy and the importance of maintaining boundaries. In a Jewish context, sexuality is understood not only as a personal matter, but also as one that affects the family, the community, and one's relationship with God. Therefore, Jewish teachings encourage individuals to approach the topic of sex with wisdom, integrity, and respect for tradition. Jewish mystical teachings, such as those found in Kabbalah, provide an even deeper understanding of the connection between sex and spirituality. According to these teachings, sexual intimacy is viewed as an opportunity to channel divine energy and achieve spiritual elevation. The union between the masculine and feminine, both physically and spiritually, reflects the divine unity of God. By engaging in intimate relations with this awareness, a couple can elevate their union and bring holiness into their lives. In this context, the act of intimacy is seen as a form of sacred service, a way of connecting to the divine and achieving a sense of spiritual fulfillment. The physical act of sex, when approached with mindfulness and reverence, becomes a vehicle for spiritual growth, strengthening both the marital bond and the couple's relationship with God. Through this lens, Jewish law encourages couples to engage in intimacy with intention and reverence, recognizing that they are participating in a sacred act that has both physical and spiritual significance. Finally, the teachings surrounding the sanctity of sex in Jewish law and lore reflect a holistic view of marriage and sexuality. Jewish tradition emphasizes that intimacy within marriage is not only about procreation or physical pleasure, but is an expression of a deeper spiritual and emotional connection. Sexuality is viewed as a powerful force of good, capable of bringing couples closer to one another and to God, when approached with respect, mindfulness, and a sense of holiness. By framing sexuality in such a meaningful context, Jewish law encourages individuals and couples to engage with it responsibly, respectfully, and with a sense of reverence for the sacredness of the marital bond. The sanctity of sex, as understood in Jewish law and lore, calls for a harmonious balance between the physical, emotional, and spiritual aspect of intimacy. This approach ensures that sexual relations, when practiced within the boundaries of marriage, are not only a source of personal fulfillment, but also a path to spiritual growth, mutual respect, and divine connection.